Welcome, everyone, to the 215th Knowledge Seekers
Hello.
Workshop for
Can you?
Thursday. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Just a second here. You have another line open, apparently. Welcome to the 215th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, March 15th, 2018. And once again, we'll be joined by Mr. Keshe, as we can hear in the background. And I am your host, Rick Kremen, today. And once again, it appears we'll have a jam-packed workshop with lots of new information and things to announce here. So without further ado, I'll let Mr. Keshe take over. I think he's ready to go. Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. Good day to you. Good morning to you. Wherever and wherever you are, and you listen to these knowledge seekers uh, series of teachings. As we are all aware, we are breaking new ground in every aspect of the life, in teaching, in technology, in what we achieved, and we announced last week that we are targeting and we are going a step much further in releasing knowledge and in so many ways sharing all the assets of this planet together on equal and fair basis. Something which is very important, which we would like to announce is, um, first of all, one of the main announcements we've got to make is to our Chinese knowledge seekers and Chinese supporters across China, mainland and across the world. Um, as we have been busy in developing the Keshe Foundation worldwide, we have ignored part of what we didn't ignore. We left the Chinese to control a lot of things themselves and bring a lot of things in order. And now that in developing the factories in around the world, China has become one of our main sources of machinery, technology, and in so many ways investments in development of the future programs. Um, for this reason, we have come to be directly, literally working amongst the Chinese community, members of the Keshe Foundation management team, manufacturing team, uh, travel in and out of China. We have, for the first time, become aware of what is going on, the way things are happening, which we have realized there's a lot of beautiful things happening. There's a huge number of supports in China, massive support in China, what we receive from our people who are going in and reporting to us, and we've been here before. We have realized there is something has changed, has to change in the ethos of the Keshe Foundation China. We know these are getting translated, all these teaching gets translated. And that is, we have to change the ethos of copying. Trying to see the Chinese can do everything, we don't have a pattern, we do it, this has to stop. Respect for each other's work has to take priority. Secondly, what has appeared from what we see in China is devotion of the Keshe Foundation members of different groups working so hard to bring everything in line. They have sacrificed a lot, what we see. And in response to that, the Keshe Foundation is setting a new structure in China. The new structure in China is very simple. Fair pay for fair work. We have come to understand Chinese through their ethos sacrifice a lot of things, work literally on peanuts. And some people have abused the situation. And for that reason, uh, last few days we came across people working for Keshe Foundation groups that they're literally living on the breadline. This changed, this has changed from last week. We have literally closed Shenzhen lab for this reason. I have personally instructed the Shenzhen lab to be shut down because it's not on the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. We cannot be getting cheap things out of China. Keshe Foundation has to have the same value across this planet as one nation. For this reason, I attended a meeting in Shenzhen last week, and I instructed the closure of the Shenzhen lab, immediate closure. Any moment or day, it has closed. We have left it. We have left the city, we are gone. But the reason being, the people who work in Shenzhen lab or any other lab as part of the Keshe Foundation organization should be paid in equal and treated as a human being. Paying $150 for 30 days of work, 25 days of work is criminal. We work as Keshe Foundation to change the situation across the world. Now, what we see here in Shenzhen, it was worse than what we saw in Africa. We paid in Africa to bring the quality. China has to be the same. No sweatshops. It's a new technology, it's a new era. For that reason, paying 1,000, what do you call it, RMB, which is around about 100, 150 euros per month, which is £5 for 8 hours, less than 50 cents, 60 cents, whatever, is not within the framework of the Keshe Foundation. I would not allow it to happen. I've fought all my life for equality, fair play, justice, and peace. And what I saw personally in Shenzhen lab, I instructed immediate closure. We have beautiful knowledge seekers there, and I saw nothing but disgrace. The Chinese work should be equal to an African, to European, to American or South American Keshe Foundations around the world. We are restructuring. I have given instruction for restructuring of the Keshe Foundation in China, and automatically we are bringing all the groups of the Keshe Foundation who are developing, who have been working in the background under the umbrella of the Keshe Foundation international operation. And we have already brought 4 groups, 3 groups of 3 or 4, which are doing a lot of work around China together while I was in Beijing the last time. And by closure of Shenzhen, we are bringing all the people who work in Shenzhen back on the umbrella of the Keshe Foundation. Now we have a core team of about 20, 30, 20 people around in that figure from these different groups that I have given instruction. The minimum pay has to be a standard Keshe Foundation of 10,000 RMB, which is about €1,500, about $1,800 minimum. People who devote their life to it. There's been a lot of opposition. We hear the people we have put out have made a lot of noise that people should not work with Keshe Foundation. People should work. Those who disgraced themselves in the name of the Keshe Foundation should not work, never work. Do not let my name and my position as a Keshe Foundation to be used for slavery. And this is important. I have shut down and I'll shut down anywhere which I see against the ethos of all of us as Keshe Foundation. We are here to serve and not to be served, but we are not here to be slaves for those who make some money and others have to follow. Slavery, long gone, but I saw it in Shenzhen and I shut it down. All the members of the staff of the Keshe Foundation Shenzhen moved to new offices. We are organizing it. We asked our team there to start working on it, and they'll get the minimum Keshe Foundation standard, which is €1,500 worldwide minimum after 3 months of training. Is correct. We are raising everywhere around 1,000 minimum around the world, that we don't get people to suffer, to sacrifice. We found out, as you, a lot of you know, in China, when they work, the half goes to their family to support. How can a man live with about 500 RMB, which is just about, I do not know, $80 a month, and send the rest home, another 50, 60, $80? Those who set up to say Shenzhen should, or Keshe Foundations should not support, those are the people who have stolen from all the Keshe Foundations worldwide and the people in Keshe Foundation in China. Last time I spoke with Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin has to shut down his team in the background. We offer a 10,000 RMB to work properly, and then increase the value to 20, 25,000 RMB, as we're doing with other countries around the world. They stole from the foundation, they stole on the invention of other people of the foundation, and now we found out they're stealing from their own nationals, from their own people, and this has stopped. Shenzhen lab and Mr. Lin lab are closed. We take the members, we nourish them, we thank them, and we pay them according to the international standard of the Keshe Foundation. Within the next few weeks, we announce a new lab, and at the same time, the lab is connected in the direction where we supply most of our goods out of China to the factories setting up. So they benefit both. They can see the commercial side, they can see the new introduction side, and everything else which goes with it, plus the research. Human life has to be respected. As one nation is the responsibility of all of us. I had a dear friend of ours with us in that meeting in Shenzhen. A lot of you know him, but he's in the background in the Chinese community, very powerful. He was sitting with us, and he said, he wrote to me afterwards, he said, these people abuse, you were right. They lied, they cheated. Those of you who worked in Shenzhen, you are offered automatically new job. Just give us a few days till we settle everything out, finding a new place, bring it up to a standard it should be, and we carry on. Those of you who work with Mr. Lin, you are offered a job at 10,000 plus with your experience to work for the Keshe Foundation China. You're not stealing people, you're giving people freedom from slavery. Chinese goods should be the same value, it should not be sweatshops. That time of China has passed. China has become a proud nation. The best we see, better than what we see in Europe, is in China that even Europeans, Americans don't even get. The truth is, China is a scientific manufacturing backbone of the world. And children of China, men of China, women of China should not be paid as sweatshop. Those days gone. And as long as I am the head of the Keshe Foundation, will not happen in China or anywhere in the world. So as we go to India, we change the ethos. As we go, we move in Africa, you've seen, we pay our staff while even time of closure. While we moved from one factory to another, while the second factory now is in operation. It has to be understood that we set up a new standard for, as one nation, we have to stand across this planet as one nation, not different standards in different positions. All the members of the Keshe Foundation in Shenzhen who faced the shutdown by the people, they realized what they've gone wrong and they cannot put it right, you are automatically from April employed by the Keshe Foundation worldwide. We take you on, and according to the standard we set. We pay in each nation 3-4 times average salary. And here in Shenzhen, highly technical people get paid around 7,000-8,000 RMB. We pay Keshe Foundation scientists 10,000, which we think is correct. And on the backing of what they bring and everything else, the 4 other groups in the background, which I already have joined the Keshe Foundation April time, we're setting up one. The whole of the Keshe Foundation organization in managing the Keshe Foundation has gone to Nathan. All the Keshe Foundation supporters know. He's translated the 3 books of the Keshe Foundation, and he's been the backbone of the old organization. He's taken the head. He'll move to Shenzhen to bring all the Keshe Foundation supporters under one roof in China. That we speak one word, one way, an equal and fair way. All the teams which are working, making things in the background, have already 3-4 major ones we know have joined the Keshe Foundation, and they go on the same banner as the rest of the Keshe Foundation manufacturing and the rest. I thank the Chinese back community. We have called for a QQ on Monday of next week. It will be announced through QQ and WeChat. I will be there to answer any question. Those who provoke to start working with the Keshe Foundation, those are the ones who have stolen from the Keshe Foundation members around the world. And we know it's come from people like Lin and people who were in Shenzhen benefiting, and the other one is slavering. They don't like the change. Work with Keshe Foundation, and in the next few minutes we make new announcements that you'll understand how it's going to support you. The second part is the Keshe Foundation catalog is on the verge of being set up, developed, completed. We expect it to be completed before 21st of this month. Huge effort is going into it. It's something between Alibaba and Amazon, but is only for Keshe Foundation products, plasma technology. We invite you, especially the Chinese, to make go on the Keshe Foundation website in English or Chinese Keshe Foundation.cn. Please translate it into Chinese, where take a good picture of your product. Make sure your product covers what we call certification. Make sure if you are making something like pillowcases or whatever, which is part of the plasma technology, the waters which you make for rivers or whatever you do, anything you make like gases, magab units, kits or whatever are within the structure of the law, and just place them. In your standard way you might sell 10 here, 5 there. This way with the standard catalog, which is coming out, Keshe Foundation catalog, Cape catalog, you can sell hundreds. Discuss with our team how you deliver it, how you can do it. If you have products and the orders come in and you run into problem financially to support it, Keshe Foundation will support you. We're trying to increase the cottage industry that it gives a lot of lifeline, but you have to be within the law. Keshe Foundation products of the manufacturing of the factories with certification will come in automatically into operation in the same catalog. You can still buy from keshefoundation.org materials. In there you get a link to the Keshe Foundation catalog that you see a bigger prospects, bigger things. You don't need to ship all the way from, let's say, uh, Italy to Sweden or whatever. You find a supplier of the same thing in Sweden. You find a supplier of the same thing in your country. Shipping is lower, you support the local industry, and that's the plan. We estimate thousands of products on this slide. Those of you who are distributors, you will find some problem with this. We're trying to accommodate for you that you get a smaller margin, very small margin as distributors, but you get a much bigger range that it can be beneficial to our distributors. At the same time, we're working on an extension of 83 distribution points across the world through acquisition of another company which is already part of the Keshe Foundation operational talk and merger. Then it gives us access to all the distribution points around the world. It's a well-established family business. I've been in negotiation for some months with them. Hopefully within the next few weeks, once we receive the due diligence, the company will become part of the merger group of the Keshe Foundation. As we said, Keshe Foundation Global Operation has become an international organization. We will be quoted in the what we call market index, and all the assets of the Keshe Foundation will go into that direction. Keshe Foundation will worth a lot of power of financial, scientific, and peace work. That's what we are aiming at, to create peace. If you want to put products, please go on the Keshe Foundation website, look for the catalog, follow the instruction, and follow what you have to do, send it in. Our team, as you see it's on the screen, our team in the background start gathering, cataloging everything. It's a huge team behind this structure. The financial backing by this is tens of millions of dollars. This is not a Keshe Foundation website on the site. This is set up to structure anything to do with plasma technology, with Maghreb system. Tickets for flight in the future to be sold from this website. We are encouraging a lot of new development. You want to offer even classes, you want to do teachings, you can still advertise on this site. It goes on its own catalog. So those of you who are in class business, you can go that way. Keshe Foundation Global System will support this very vigorously from now on. We are putting huge amounts of money behind this operation to see it happening, and it's just a matter of maybe a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully, or less or more. And this becomes, as I said, part of the overall ownership of the Keshe Foundation Global operation, which gives a huge value to the operation. Go around, around, see what you made, ganses you made. We'll give you a lot of things. Please use my name as much as you like, but don't use my name or Keshe Foundation symbol the wrong way. We saw a misconduct in New Zealand into Amazon, writing very wrong title books and using different characteristics of space, trying to sell new books. Kindle books which are wrong, please, from New Zealand, and those who copied it has to be shut down. We asked people in New Zealand to shut it down. Now we request you publicly, do not forget, we own the logo ownership of KFSSI. We are polite, please bring these pages down because they're not good. And secondly, it's not my word, it's transcription of the people, what they like to write, interpretation, and they put it in my word. No way. Please shut these down. The other Kindle books you're putting there, please promote it. Knowledge is free. But do not abuse the freedom to damage others for you to make a little bit more. We have the same power. We ask for a copyright, we shut everything down. Thank you very much for it. Please try to promote anything you make. Anything you can imagine you can make, bring it into the catalog. Sizes, how you pack it, everything else, you'll be guided, and you start a new cycle of life. Payment on this can be done with the cash coins. If you buy a product over the value of the market of the, what you call the cash coin, you can pay with cash coin. And the people who get it can come back to the cash bank and ask, can I have cash in certain currencies? We see whether it's a cash available, which currency, which factory, we release funds. This is how it's going to be. Somebody in Africa, somebody in Asia, somebody in Europe, United States, South America, we stand the same chance. We try, when we announce we accept exchange on the goods, when the catalog goes up, you go in, you buy the coin, you go back, you purchase, and the man who sold it, you don't have a euro, dollars, whatever, we give you the cash currency at that point, according to €1,000 value of the coins. This brings a new economy, new structure, and is internal. So you deal inside, or if you want, you can keep your coins, later on cash it up. The other point is, as we said, as we saw the peer review of what I call the scientific papers we asked you to publish, now Keshe Foundation has opened up the new web page. Convert your testimonials to a scientific paper. Follow the Keshe Foundation website. This is Plasma Scientific Journal. Submit. Go into the page. You did the work. We would like to look at it. If you'd like to share the knowledge really the way we share our patterns with you.
Mr. Keshe, can we get you to adjust the microphone a bit there? The sound went down a bit, I think. Thank you.
Yes, I'm trying to stop the coughing to go down the microphone. That's
Thank
the
you.
reason. The whole process is go through it. There's a structure, follow our structure. There is a form, submit the form, and let it print it. Let other people understand what you achieve, what we can achieve. And in that way, we don't get anybody to pass it, it can be published or not. As long as it's scientific and it's not a bunch of whatever guesswork, whatever, and anything else which could be wrong, it gets published. Get somebody to read it, that the grammar is correct. Language is irrelevant. You publish your papers in your own mother language. If you want, you translate it yourself. If somebody knows, understands, will translate it. Or can be done on the internet directly the way they want. Bring value and we support you. Plasma Scientific Journals is on the website. Start publishing your knowledge. Let us change the course of humanity, that the knowledge has only one value, is saving another life. as we heard, one of those who used what they call scientific journals, stealing other people's knowledge and publishing his name, gladly has passed away, and we bless his soul, but his physicality was nothing shame to humanity in his conduct. Mr. Stephen Hawking, we've been informed, if it's true, has passed away this week. We bless his soul, but the physicality did a lot of stealing. And this couldn't be any better time than this to be submitted, that nobody like him could have used other people's scientists' work to publish in their name or their way, as we know was done with the black hole paper some years ago. Um, we have to understand peer review has been done by those who use it, not by those who want to sell it. Go through the process, we advise you how to do it. There is no abstract. Write what you thought, write what you think, and follow it up. We have many, many Chinese scientists who developed a lot of things. Please convert this to a scientific paper. It will be published in the journal. Those doctors and scientists, agriculturists who work in the background, published, especially those.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. I think we might have
Can you
lost him.
hear me? Hello?
Lost
Can you,
the
can you
signal,
hear me?
perhaps. Still
Hello?
here. Maybe it's me.
Can you hear me?
We
Hello?
have lost. We have lost the part after the background, working in the background.
What power in the background? Can you hear me?
Now
Hello?
we can. Now we can hear you. Just we lost
Okay.
your sound for a half minute.
Okay, no problem. What we said, what I said is, please publish, bring your papers, doctors, scientists, agriculturalists, everything you did, you published results or testimonial, write it down officially and bring it in. If you're a doctor, if you're a scientist and you've done work in
I
the
just wanted to do a sound check. I'm not sure if.
I'm receiving a signal.
Yes, we hear you, Rick.
Oh, okay, good.
can you, I think it's
Ah.
you, Rick.
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess
you're losing voice.
something went off there and it's back again now. So
I
I'm not
think
sure.
it's your line.
It
Yeah.
might have been the internet dropping out here, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Thank
So,
you.
please write down and publish your papers, publish your discoveries, and we let it to be peer reviewed by those who use it, not by those who try to reject it because it might discredit the work they've done. Let it be done, and then we'll see who puts what out and how much we can further extend the knowledge. This is how it should be a paper. We're given a sample, observation, results, and we'll see what was at the end of it achieved, and this is how it should be. And then other people will try it because it's a new technology. We come to, thank you very much for this. We come to another fundamental point in the Keshe Foundation development as we announced last week. Keshe Foundation has set up what is known as a Keshe coin, which is the backbone of the whole operation of the Keshe Foundation. We have made a video that it brings you home. You can purchase the Keshe coins from the Keshe Foundation website. This is an internal exchange. Anybody can buy it. It's a coin which can be exchanged anywhere. This coin is available to be purchased according to what Keshe Foundation has received as a donation of coins from the structure of the Keshe coin ownership, which means 1 million coin has been donated to the Keshe Foundation to be released to public. The rest of the coins is being kept by the Keshe Foundation coin, and some might be released in the future. These are the gifts to the foundation, and we are releasing this to public, that it raises all the capitals we need, that brings all the structures in order. And in due course, when we release some balance of the coins, international market will value it. This is the first time a coin is backed by industrial development payment, which means The Keshe Foundation coin or a Keshe coin has a value that it will be paid by itself. As we said regarding the catalog, you can take your coin, you can go out, shop with it, come back, cash it in the Keshe Foundation. It's the first time this is possible. We are releasing 1 million coins and we close it because we know there is a lot of demand for it. We have valued each coin as 1,000 euro. A video has been made for you to watch to understand the gravity of what is released. Would you like to release the video, please?
Sure, yes, Mr. Keshe. Let me get that lined up here.
As you see, you have to fill in an application form. We know we can track. Coins will be embedded with chip. And each coin in a long time, as you understand, we plan long term, will be connected to an ID, your passport, which you don't have a passport now on as one nation, is to ID where the coin will chip in. Physical coins will be available in the future. The present coins are locked into that position that we all can follow it. We know who owned it, who has it, who's bought it, and it's only we release it as a donation. Would you like to start a video?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, the same thing. Please. As we see it, the Keshe coin has taken shape and reality and will be the new currency. Currency of peace, where the science in exchange for peace, at the same time as one nation, one coin. You can buy goods in Accra, take it. Somebody's phone is open, please, and take it in Washington or in Moscow or another point of the planet, exchange it as it worth the same. This is what we worked for and now has become a reality. The Keshe coin will become the symbol of peace, symbol of science and technology, symbol of what we stand for. We have put the structure of a government together, we have put the structure of the finances together, and now we have put the structure of banking and retailing and science and education. And as you've seen as part of this program, the coin is made to guarantee peace, evolution of the man to become peaceful. And this coin, as it says, is one coin. One nation, one coin, one planet. This is what we came for as one race, and it's the one-way path to peace. You can go on the Keshe Foundation website. Now it's been added to the foundation website. Fill in the form, purchase the coin, and it's valued at 1,000 coins. We will not release any more coins in any shape or form for time to come. The reason this has been released is to create a condition of understanding that we have become independent and we start exchanging. If you notice, the total number of the Keshe Foundation coins as a total mining, as they call it, which has already been produced, our mines are our factories, research centers that we have, has been put at 5 billion coins. The coins have a value of investment, which means up to 3% at the value of the 1,000 euro coins is payable on a depositing with a foundation banking system. The structure of you can bring your coins back and leave it with us. We can let others use it as you don't need, and knowing that others can get benefit by it, and 3% return on investment is there. So it's better than the banks and anywhere else at this moment for the investors. The coin, we've been told, those who start working around it since last week, has risen its price beyond 1,000 as we talk. Please do not speculate. Try to keep it in a balance. Many people we've seen, they talk, they want, if you get many, can I have some? How many can I buy? You can buy as many as you like. At the end of the day, it's patterned and it's worked in a way that it'll bring a lot of harmony to humanity. We can increase the number to 10 million when the world population goes to 10. We reckon registered number of people at this moment in time, even announced to be 7 billion, is around about 5 billion. And the number of coins is set at that point. 1 coin per person, guaranteeing life anywhere on this planet. This is the reason. We increase the numbers according to what is needed by not diluting, but by strengthening the manufacturing, the space development technology and the rest of it. We put some frequently answered questions and a platform. We know the 1 million coins will be out in no time. It's a donation purchase. We deliberately have done it this way. It's a donation to receive. You donate to the foundation and when you receive a coin as a donation return. It's not a purchase. At the same time, the minute we accept it, we say the coin I'll release in next few weeks. From that day, you start exchange. You can do whatever you like. There's a figure of much higher than 1,000 euro has already been discussed by those who are in this business. Please respect us and keep it, not to run away. You got to understand, all these bitcoins in the market have no backing. It's just the dream numbers. Keshe Foundation coin has a backing to come from its manufacturing, from its processing, from the factories we already have, which is going to be developed more and more, and then is backed by our international operation. The space, opening of the space will bring a new dimension in the bitcoins and the cash coins of the Keshe Foundation. In the olden days used to be gold backing. The first time ever, we don't need the gold backing. We started from the correct base, knowledge, intelligence and science backing the humanity. Please be prudent. You can go back to the Keshe Foundation banking system and exchange your coins and ask what's the value today. You can only sell to the bank or we operate controlling everything. The strictest possible way for controlling the coins is getting put into place and position. This is a milestone, and now the coin has a face, has a reality, and has a value, and at the same time is only cashable when the bank accepts to buy. In so many ways, we exchange the coin within the banking system if you want, or you can do it outside and tell us, please change the coin to the name of somebody, organization, or my children. I invested for future. 3% at this moment is highly thought after across the planet, and it's a realistic, because the rest of the profit, as I said last time, goes for development of humanity. Is there we can live, is there we can work, is there, it gives us enough to guarantee by the foundation in the background. All the factories we purchase becomes the backers of the coin. All the products we produce becomes the back of the coin. It is the reality which we have accepted, and with it, as the head of the Keshe Foundation, I make sure everything goes according to what we said over years. Now, this was one of the final stages, creating a currency which returns back. One coin has multiple applications, even can be paid as a wage. I like to give so much for so much work. I pay you with the Keshe Foundation coin. In so many ways, if you speak English, as many friends for so many years have joked with it, Keshe in English language by the pronunciation means money in hand. And this is exactly what it's going to be. Promise of man to himself, to be able to change his time, his effort, his knowledge in equal basis across this planet, and not to be stolen by one or the other. In the coming near future, all the Keshe Foundation workers will be paid on a cash coin currency. Somebody will tell you, I only earn 50 coins a year. It means, according to the European standard, I earn 50,000 a year. You convert it to what you like. But all the factories will pay paid according to the standard in the coming time. We pay our staff to our own standard. Is for them to shop inside the foundation and find peace with it, or convert it if they want into what they need. Are there any questions before we start the teaching?
There's one question in the live stream. I think you already answered it, which is how is the Keshe coin secured with blockchain? So they're wondering if there's some sort of connection with the Bitcoin idea.
It is done on the basis of what they call cryptocurrency is set up, but in a different way, in what they call blockchains. But there is no mining because they involve the assets of the foundation. There is no dream. We are setting factories up. We are setting huge number of structures up. I would like my management team, if you would like to release just the video of the Keshe Foundation Ghana, which is about to come up to completion in the next few weeks. If any of the management of the Keshe Foundation in the background, we don't need to show the factory. If you have the snapshots of it, if you like to share it, please. Is any of the Keshe Foundation management team in manufacturing available? This is what is backing us. This factory is already partially operational. When we came out of the Ghana Atomic, we start building this as part of it, and this is a blueprint factory. We don't disclose much from it inside, but is anybody there who can share a picture with us? Klaus?
Yes, I'm there.
Could you share a picture of the just part of the factory where it rotates around it and no more?
Yes, okay. Give me just a minute, please, to load it.
Please load it up and show it. This
You
is the
mean this
actual.
animation?
Pardon?
This animation you're talking
The
about.
animation, yes, please. Just the factory from front
Yes.
till rotates back onto the back of the road.
Okay.
This is the actual structure. Part of this factory is already operational. People are working inside, and in the final opening of it in the next few weeks, we are inviting a number of world presidents, ambassadors, because it's a blueprint factory and it brings huge, huge secure employment, and the spring of the whole thing will create thousands of jobs in Ghana. Mexico factory is already both is in that direction, which assets become part of the Keshe Foundation Global. Austria is on the research side, is on it. Italy factory is going on the same direction. We are looking at number of positions around the world where we can acquire, buy the factory, and then it becomes part of the assets of the Keshe Foundation, which is part of the global, which backs the coin. This is the actual factory. Would you like to show it? As you see, it's a huge 10,000 square meter structure. It has research and development. As I said, the section of this factory workers are already working. As the phase by phase comes into operation to the full occupation and completion, then will be open. Meanwhile, it allows our team to do a lot of work. Mexico, Italy will follow the same system. This is a physical structure. As part of it, you see it's already been built, and as I said, we are producing PPUs and some water production in here, but it increases to a massive structure. This is what is backed, and is backing the Keshe Foundation, what we call a cash coin. Real structures, real operation, and as we said, PPUs already been there. Thank you very much, Klaus. And this is what it's about. This is a blueprint factory, and it's a working factory. As some of you already buy products from different factories of the Keshe Foundation, all it is now, we're blueprinting it everywhere. We are backing by reality. We are not backing by some imaginary numbers to chunk up, and we are not putting it in the backing of the what we call a stock exchange market on the profit value. The value of the foundation work goes according to what it stands for, what it is in reality, backing his own structure and his own ethos. Now you can see how real it is. And you saw the man digging, the picture which Rick put down. That man is building this structure. You saw the same structure we shown in Brazil. The same is going on to add to Italy and the rest of it. And this is why we say, when we set up factories in China, in India, in South America, in Africa, all has to be equal. That we can take a man from China, put him in Accra or in the United States, he lives the same standard. Nothing changes. As part of one nation. If you live in United States, in California, in Florida, in Washington, or in Colombia, $1 is $1. One coin is one coin. And it has to worth its value, which is equal across this planet. And now you can see, one side carries the logo of the Universal Council, and on the other side carries the logo of the Earth Council, with a conformation of one planet, and with a conformation of KFSSI, as we open the humanity into universe. If you have any questions, you can ask, but you can go now and book your coin back by the Keshe Foundation and the work we done and we're doing. Because whatever is received will go into rapidly more structuring factories to make the coin more powerful, more accessible, and the rest of it. We pay our staff high value. We do not do something which could be against our own ethos. We do not allow for some of us to suffer, for the others to benefit. And where we saw this in Shenzhen, we shut it down. I'm proud to shut the Shenzhen down, because this coin says equal for every man. Any other question? Rick, can you see any other question, or shall we go to the next part?
There was a question from Florian, but I'm not sure if it already got, well, it just got asked here, but it's just how work the coin. I'm not sure what he means by that. Maybe you would have to talk to explain what he means by that question. How does the coin work? I think he means, but you've pretty much explained that.
The coin, you look at it, I can buy a maggraph system from Keshe Foundation worth, let's say, €1,000. I give a coin for it. Or you can get exchange for it, balance it, divide it, depends what you come to an agreement with the person who's accepting it, or you buy it just to store it and receive 3% return on it, which is if you put €1,000, €30 per month, per year. And those who buy multiple is a long-term investment. If it goes to 2,000-3,000 euros value base, then you make your expansion on that side. You go to the bank. If the bank sees the value according to that day, they buy, they have investment backing they need, they can buy it from you, and you tell which exchange money you like to transfer it. It has to go through the banking system, or people who buy it and then come in the future to the bank and say they would like to cash it. I want to have it in dollars, I want to have it in rubles, it's all the same. You decide point of exchange, but for the first time there will be point where you can change your money. You just don't need to go into anything else, and it's backed by itself. This is very important. There are a couple of exclusions on purchase. If you are wife or a child of somebody who works in military defense technology, you cannot purchase. And if we see people, anybody who's broken the rule and they're bought it with the false flag, according to our mandate, the coin becomes assets of the bank and it'll be offered back again into public. The only thing is you lose your finances which you backed in. Please do not touch. If you are if you are in the army, you're welcome. We need the armies to support peace. If you are people who make arms to kill, we prefer you for a time till some sort of sense is made not to be there. We don't want blood money into the circulation of the Keshe Foundation. Armies are needed for protection and development as they change over. We do not need to produce arms to kill that encourage the borders to be enforced, borders of mind, not the land. On the other hand, it's important for all of us. We do not allow no Belgians to buy a coin. This is part of the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. If you're a Belgian passport holder, a citizen, you're not allowed, we do not allow you to buy, because the way we follow it, if you find out, you lose your coin. Any other question?
Yes, there's a question regarding can one buy, say, a quarter of one coin for a €250 donation and so on? Or what can people do? Can they get together,
Yes.
many people to buy one coin and that kind of thing?
This is the whole purpose of the coin. Bringing people together. Allowing, let's become peaceful together, we invested together. We know a number of people who have told us they want to buy the coin, and the interest to be paid according to the Keshe Foundation ethos to whoever we want. We have a number of people who ask, can I buy a coin? I want the 3%, but I don't need it. Can you give it somewhere or something? And Yes, it can be done. We use our factories to do and to pay back. In a way, you still allow your coin to grow in value, whatever the market goes with it, they push it, but you can release the interest to be paid by the foundation to the projects which you might want to be part of, or you want to be financing or be part of to be. It is important that we understand this, and it's important that it stays with us. The more people collectively do buy in the bank blocks, as we call it, we welcome. In a way, we give support to development. We can buy 1 coin, 2 coin. There's 1 million coins, and we stop it. And we know traders will go for these quantities very rapidly. We allow traders to buy. We're not blocking, because we know what we planned for trading in the future. If you're a trader, you want to do it as 1,000. It's sitting there. We allow you to trade in it, but at the end of it, you have to come back to Keshe Foundation and be asked the ethos of the trade. Evaluation will be there. We allow it, but organization which is buying the coins and connected to defense technology, the coins will be lost. So ethical groups can buy, ethical people can buy. We've already been approached by a number of organizations who would like to buy a large number of coins. You can buy as long as your work is ethical. Insurance companies love to buy this kind of coins to back it. And 1 million coin is a huge amount of money. At this moment, we're trying to get as many Keshe Foundation supporters to buy. We allow it sometimes for it, and then we release it into the open market, that we use then the structure of the financial institutes to be benefited by those who benefit by it. It's well planned. It's well planned. But what we said, it is to create stability. It is for creating peace. No borders. And it'll be connected to the IDs, because at the end of the day, each coin has to have an ID. The institutes will go who is holding with them, we need the name to connect with the ID. It's well planned. It'll be executed perfectly. Take as many as you like, and then allow it to grow to become a tool of peace. We have opened it, you can go now. It's a donation purchase. It's a donation receiving, it's not a donation purchase. We're not selling it. We received it as a donation from the people who lived and received the knowledge and support from us, and we're sharing the donation what we received to you. And when the coins are released officially, we can start working on it. It's very normal pre-offering. We're offering the peace to humanity, and you can do it. And we receive it. It has to be on your list. If you receive anything which doesn't say donation, we return back the funds. It's a usual, as you see, right across Keshe Foundation. One banking, one center. We are not offering another bank, another place. It says not only coin. It's for food, shelter, borderless, totally no borders. Unlimited number on the public domain.
Mr. Keshe, some people are asking, what is the coin going to be made of, the actual physical coin?
You can make it from ice. It has a number. In so many ways in the future, when you carry this coin with you in the space, they know where you are from. It's the symbol of humanity. It'll be in a way that is embedded chip, and number which carries is important. You can never lose it. Because this coin is connected to the ID card. It's connected with the passport and the banking system which set up. If you look at it in so many ways, the one side will carry the coin, the information about location, where on this planet you're born, and the other side is dimension of universe in what we call the coin value. Doesn't carry no nationality, carries a human race with the soul of the man across this planet. All the structure is set. It will be managed by the Universal Council and Earth Council members through the operation of the financial arm of the Keshe Foundation. You can make it from copper, you can make it from gold, you can make it from silver, you can make it from aluminum. It's the essence of it which counts, not the matter of it. And as everything has a number, there is no fake value because it's only need to be checked. So copying, you can copy as many as you like. It has to add up with central data number.
Mr. Keshe, it just occurred to me it might be nice to make them out of copper and zinc, or perhaps copper, nano-coated copper and zinc. Might even work into it somehow, since we use those elements so much.
It's already past our mind, because as I was looking at it the other day, it's the essence of the creation. If you have a zinc and a copper, you melt it, you take the chip out. You can feed yourself, make medicine for yourself. Cut it in two half, you have everything you need.
Perhaps if the copper and zinc of the coin could be separated by just a nano-coated layer internally, then you could just drop the coin in salt water and it would start producing GANs.
Oh, we can't do anything with it.
What an idea.
It was made that way, is the essence. You can do it because in the future, if you can do with the silver and gold, you get a different dimension. The two material will always gives you the creation of what you need as life. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, any other question?
I did have a question to try to define a little better this slide that we see here, available for everyone except those working in defense, military, and their immediate families. And you mentioned it was okay for like people working in army and so on, but not for the weapons manufacturers. I'm not clear on where that line is, and it's important so that people don't lose their Bitcoin if they were working for the wrong people or something like that.
You see,
Not
always,
Bitcoin, sorry, their peace coin, the Keshe peace coin.
we always said, it's not the man who shoots it, it's the man who makes it to encourage the position of shooting. The man who designs systems to kill, the man who designs systems to create separation and division in nations by whatever form. Armies are there to keep peace. Armies are there to create condition of peace, not to fight. It's very strange. Look at the China Wall, the Great Wall of China. We're always told that it's been put in that the enemies cannot come in and they could keep them out. But in fact, if you look at it, the truth of it is totally different. The Wall of China, the Great Wall of China, was made by the leaders who are peaceful, that they could keep peace inside their nation. The explanation of what was done is totally the other way around, and what is the truth sits behind it. They were peaceful people, so those who were wild, they wanted to keep out. That those who lived within the structure of the wall were at peace. So the intention is, when you are man of peace, you don't think of war. You can use the structure as whatever is there. Armies are needed for developing the nations. All of us have to spend time in returning back to the society where it gave us. And armies are there to create a condition. The armies in the future will be the developers of the nation, not defending borders, because the borders are not there. I explained this very recently. They left me too long to do too much and to release too much and do a lot of good things with it. One of the good things is, now that the space technology has come, as I said before, Washington, Moscow is about 5 minutes, 10 minutes flight. Which border? Which army? Why do we need to fight? Because it's all the same. If 1 million Russians decide tomorrow morning to land in Moscow with the new technology from Moscow to New York, what are we going to do? We have nothing to change. The only thing left when they land in Washington is to greet them as brothers, as equal. We can't fight them. The only way we travel is not to immigrate to have a better life with the cash coins. We immigrate to see the beauty of the creation on this planet and beyond. Change, the change is so subtle, nobody has noticed how we came in. We are thief of the night. We've stolen the wars and conflict out of blood of man. That's the only thing which we are stealing. And with it we bring a peace, harmony and equality. And I'm glad to be a man who instigated stealing those from the time when it's been the biggest problem of man killing each other. Stop the whole process. We are not Robin Hoods, we are men of peace. We bring it with the technology, very solid, all of us. It's not me anymore. They poison me, is millions of you. Can they poison the rest of humanity? Or embrace it and we go together. When we start setting the Earth Council, Universal Council, everybody told us one thing or another. But in fact is, we are a space program. A space program means travel beyond speed of light. You try 1 million Africans sitting in a bus, landing in front of the White House or in Kremlin or somewhere else. You cannot stop. So it's better to start planning that we become all equal. We travel like the Chinese. Have you been to the airport recently? 10 years ago, 20 years ago was Arabs, and then it was the Japanese, and then it was another ones, because as they reach money. Now we are all seeing each other, and you go to the airports, it's millions of Chinese. Rome, London, Paris, anywhere you go, they're there. 10 years ago was Arabs, 20, 30 years ago. That before that was Japanese. As they got money, they start looking and going everywhere. Now we all have money, we travel everywhere to see each other. So, what are the borders for? The new technology forces no border. And we are setting the government for it. And when it comes to it, where can we go? Keshe Foundation has set everything up for it, we follow. I'm a very, very clever scientist and a man of peace. And I spend my time finding a peaceful way. For those who make arms, they have nothing to sell. This is a warning to those who work in defense technology. Space technology is coming in. Would you like, what would you like to carry? Not worth it. Why we say the families is the wife who says, I don't want blood money on my table because I cannot shop or get what I want from Keshe Foundation developers. They all use coin of peace and I have to suffer because of you. You want to make your killing machines and I can't feed my children, I can't educate my children. You'll find out how fast this coin will change. I explain to you in the future what is planned for it. It will force nations into peace. The only currency I accept is KF. I can't accept any other currency. If you don't carry it, you're not man of peace. You can't be in my place. You watch. peace will prevail with this coin. We use what is present in the hand of man to defeat man from killing. It's defeated. You will see it. At the moment you go somewhere, they say, oh, you carry an Iranian passport. No way. But if you're an Iranian passport, nuclear physicist, we would like to steal from you, yes, come in. Now, your passport, your education, your wealth counts nothing if you are not peaceful. Because we'll set up factories in every nation, it means everything is the same for everyone. I said very recently, Coca-Cola across this planet is Coca-Cola, everybody knows. And it tastes the same, most of the places is the ingredient the same. It'll be the same with the coin, the same with the waters of the Keshe Foundation. It tastes, it'll feel, it'll have the value everywhere the same. In so many ways, I have achieved what I came here for. It just needs time to mature. And once we launch the space technology in the coming weeks, months, then when they can see they can now control millions of people traveling, it becomes, as I said, the story of the Tesco and supermarkets in England. Borders automatically goes. We saw how the wall of Berlin came down. And these are the walls, imaginary walls. We brought the solid walls down in 1990, 89. Now we bring the imaginary borders down. They all become one, all peaceful. All the finances to kill, we're going to finances to develop, and the backbone of it will be the coin. But we have to guarantee those who are in military are supported. Those who are to make the tools to kill, because then they have to find a market for it to kill, have no room to do. It will be very harsh. Those who sit on the head of the major defense organizations have to start organizing themselves to become peaceful. Let's see what happens between the Americans and the North Koreans. We did our job and we see what's happening in the background. You all wished peace and we've seen the peace has come. The American President, Excellency President Trump, has agreed to meet with the North Koreans. Unthinkable before Christmas, wasn't it? We wished it, we achieved it, we put effort in it, it's coming through. Any other question? You understand, it should not matter where our soul came together from the fields of this planet, where we were born. It should matter how much our soul can elevate the other souls on this planet as beyond. We just celebrated, it was from such a beautiful place, the fields of it is peaceful, loving, and it's from Earth. We will not, I seen a question somewhere, we will not allow the coin to be used for purchases which are not within the structure of the peace work. We will set up organization to monitor, and we will see. We'll give the coins to the nations to buy goods for the nations, set up factories for the nations. But this coin, when it comes up, we'll see where it come up. They can't purchase military hardware with it. They can purchase factories. They can purchase agricultural goods. And we pay it to them and it comes back to us when it gets cashed. We monitor that. And if you're a company, a nation, you ask, we want to trade in cash coin. A lot to be done, and it'll be done very fast.
There was one question from, or actually several questions from people regarding this. What does the 3 + 4 = ? Box mean on the application form? And that's just a security question. You put in the obvious answer, which would be 7 in that box. And that's to prevent the bots and trolls from automatically putting in numbers and so on to try to beat the form and put spam into the form. So it's merely a security question and fairly simple one to answer. Just put in the answer. The question may change. There might be different numbers in there from time to time, just to change it up and keep the bots on their toes. And so that's the answer to that question.
Thank you very much. Don't forget, attached to this will come when you the coin is offered to you for for you to pick up. With it, you have to sign a peace treaty. What peace treaty will be signed before the coin is delivered on the data computer with all the security apparatus with it. So when you buy the coin, when you purchase the coin, realize that you have signed a world peace treaty. And one of the reasons we put in there, if you're a military defense technology, you cannot do that, because if you accept world peace, you have to stop working for the company you're working for. So it's already become impossibility to carry on. The beauty of it is there is a return, financial return. Is not you carry the money in your pocket and has no value unless you put it somewhere. The minute you value it, you have it. You receive income from it. And it comes from the production of the factories. Any other question?
Not seeing any other obvious questions here right now.
Thank you very much. Going back to our teachings, there is a number, as I said, we start clarifying a lot of information for those of you who don't understand. There is a number of people who are working on space systems and agriculture systems, and I try to make it much easier, much comfortable for those of you who work in this field, or you're trying to extend your knowledge and you're trying to create the fields for space travel. There is something very simple you have to remember. This comes from, in a way, maturing in the knowledge, and some people have not understood. The structure of the teaching of Foundation has been, we gathered, we assume that everybody understands, and some of us do not come from that background. And that is the process that a lot of you, as I explained last week, the reversal at a point of the maximum magnetical, which changes to gravitational, and then it becomes like a heartbeat, the flick of the over of the two speeds of the what we call magnetic field transfer. Suddenly, while you're traveling away, you get pulled back or switch at the strength to be pulled back to the center. This is very much the same as what we call alkalineness. Alkalineness is gravity. In the pharmaceutical or in the science of medicine or in the science of chemistry, we call it alkalineness. Change the name of the alkalineness, as I've said many times before, to gravitational field forces. And then change the acidity to gravitational field forces of giving. Very much you have surplus energy to give. And if we look, most of the alkaline materials, if you have produced with the gases, carry a very funny things to them. It's called oxygen. Copper on its own in the gas state will be heavily absorbing or giving. But the minute you connect it to the oxygen, it will become alkaline. You should have seen this, you should have observed it in all the tests you did. Why oxygen? is alkaline or is gravitational is because goes back to the original teachings of some times ago, and that is in the matter state, of the process, the alkalineness is part of the process of absorbing energy. What this means is that we said in the matter state, the magnetic field balance of the energies of the matters of this planet stays at the level of iron in the matter state. In the gaseous state level, the balance field is in fact the oxygen. Look at the structure of plasma of iron and look at the structure of the plasma of oxygen in the gas state. Find the balanced magnetic field and gravitational fields of the planet Earth, then you understand why iron is gravitational. Why iron shows gravitational, or what we call pulling or magnetic field effect. These are parts of what we need to know, and then it makes the science of understanding very easy for us. Why anything connected with iron is magnetic, and what anything connected with oxygen becomes magnetic. Because the balance fields in the distance from the what we call the space of the plasma of the center of the Earth creates condition of balanced magnetic gravitational field, which means behavior of giving and taking, or magnetically or gravitationally effective. This is, now we understand more. This should clarify a lot for those of you who are working in the space dimension, those of you who are working on the medical application of it, those of you who are submitting application forms for FDA, for medical applications. On a matter state level of this planet, till you reach the surface, where is the separation or the division between the gaseous and the matter state? Balanced magnetic field, gravitational field of this planet sits with around 56 electrons. In the gaseous part, changes, directly changes with number of electrons and protons and the effect of the neutrons within the center. And further, at the space of the fields of the gaseous line, even though the gases seep through the planet because of different strength of the magnetic field, you still have the same effect. 8 electrons. Balance field. Creates a combination of the play. '56, '58. Look at the combination of the fields which behave and give the property of isotopes of iron or metals within the structure of it, which behave as they behave as the center of the Earth. The atoms can rotate in the direction of field forces that in matching each other, they gravitate toward each other. In not matching each other, they separate, and we see it a magnet or not a magnet, because it's the balance field of the atom itself in conjunction with the balance field of the magnetic and gravitational field of the planet itself on the inertial level, as well as the plasma level, which the two combination allows ion to be magnetic or being able to behave as a plasma that it can rotate, accept or reject. The same thing happens in the gaseous level with oxygen. And those of you who have not understood the totality of the science of magnetic field interaction, due to space gap which hydrogen or oxygen create in the boundary of themselves, they allow field strength balance to be occupied in a plasma field, not in a matter level electron field, which allows them to receive fields or to give fields. And in a gaseous direction, when they mix with their own, create gravitational field forces within the structure that makes them alkaline. This means when you have a oxygen in your combination and you enter an oxygen bound entity like water, then the molecular structure in a plasma direction of the oxygen in the element in respect to the molecular structure plasma of the oxygen in the liquid, they interact. Which one is stronger? Which is the matter state, which is the water, will pull more energy in. Now when you pull more energy in, you're alkaline. You are more magnetic, a stronger magnet. At the same time, because the interaction of the two initial states of the hydrogen itself in the dimension of the plasma field strength allows interaction of the fields of both hydrogen to take position in the matter state of the two empty space of the electrons, then again it creates a liquid state. Look at H2O. Look at the gaseous matter state in the number of the electrons in the boundary. And then look at to H2. It gives the extra 2 electrons to complete into an inert condition. But inert condition in respect to interaction of the gravitational magnetic field of the planet creates a loose, not a matter state and not gaseous state, which is game played by 2, we call it the liquid state. And in that process, the plasmatic field, magnetic field of the Earth interacts with the totality of the field strength of the water, which in reality now in the combination of magnetic field of the Earth, it plays both matter state and the gaseous state. And then if you enter another oxygen into it, it plays what we call absorbing or alkalineness. If you want to explain it easier, change the word of alkalineness to gravitation. And then you understand the whole world of science, medicine, in any shape or form, chemistry changes. And then you bring in the game played by the hydrogen. When the hydrogen is in conjunction with the plasma magnetic field of the oxygen, it, in fact, if you look at it, hydrogen, or what we call in interaction with the water, oxygen, creates hydrogen oxide. We have copper oxide H2 plus O is a hydrogen oxide. And that oxidity, if you look at it with the CO, creates exactly for the interaction of what we call gravitational common denominator. Carbon cannot work with the hydrogen. Carbon can work through the oxygen, COO, and H2O in a way creating condition of CH3 with the presence of oxygen. But now in the body of the man, you think of it in the level of the plasma. This knowledge is important for man in a space. In a space, we deal with gravitational magnetic fields of environments which are not the strength of the field of the planet Earth. And oxygen or hydrogen does not exist in the level of being magnetical or gravitational. There is another element of the different strength which in that position behaves as a magnetic field in its gaseous or in matter state or even in the state of its plasma. What this reality means, when you go to this space of dimensions, do we change our amino acid field strength to match the environment of the plasmatic fields that we can create a matter state from our amino acid? Then the question comes, do we end up to become a new entity in the combination of our fields, but in essence carry the what you call DNA of the man's knowledge and information? The answer is yes. These things we have to understand very rapidly. We are opening the space. We are going into the dimension of the space technology very rapidly. We have to understand what alkalineness means. We have to understand what acidic means. We have to understand alkalineness is magnetical, absorbing, attracting, pulling. It's all the same word. It's a magnet in the gaseous dimension. In the gravitational magnetic field, the strength of this planet due its inertia and its plasma condition. And at the same time, the hydrogen in the presence of a carbon, which if you look at the carbon, has a very tricky game to play. If you look at the matter state of the carbon, like a CH3, what does the carbon carry? Look at the number of the hydrogens. You have fulfilled the gravitational magnetic field of the oxygen, and you have one extra electron or one extra plasma energy to release to be able to keep the gravitational magnetic field essence of the planet, which is oxygen. Or create a gap that it allows you to release more to absorb less. You have one space gap. You have a leakage from the carbon, the center, or the extra hydrogen proton, which is within the center of the plasma itself, in the combination of CH3. You have a leakage. You cannot complete. You leak so much from the central plasma to make enough energy to create the last electron, and the last electron can never be done because of the positioning of the others. Then you understand exactly what happens. You become a giver because you have a leak hole in plasma field matter. Or you have what we call extra electron, which is actually the proton which is leaking the fields out because it can penetrate the dimension of the field of the plasma. Then it becomes alkaline. But in alkalineness, it finds a hole that it leaks and it makes it what we call magnetical. If we don't understand in which part of the universe is the line of the magnetical and gravitational in the plasma dimension as it GANs, then man is in a big problem. We need to redefine these words. We need to unify the words of alkalineness means gravitational, pulling, absorbing from the fields to be able to create the balance which we have created. That is why, as I've said many times in all the teachings, in the gaseous part of this planet, oxygen plays the magnetic field to be the magnet, because it pulls. Now you understand why. You call it alkalineness. It interacts to create a balance because of the space gap in the energy field of itself with a parallel of itself, which is another oxygen. Then it creates gravitational field interaction. They come together, and the reason they come together, if you look at it, what does it give you? A completion of the field forces in the dimension of the plasma, or stability. If you look at it in so many ways, the extra two balance outside, not the way we are taught in the world of physics, is not a space gap of 4. The 4 and 4 again completes a full inert gas. But we don't look at an electron or neutron or proton. We are speaking in the dimension of the field forces of the plasma. If you look, you have 8 electrons. The 2 inner valence electrons in the matter states stay together. It's the 4 outside ones of each which is left open create a condition of helium, if you understand, which is an inert gas. Which means you have a 4 locked in together, you have your 6 locked in together, but in fact you have an 8 made of the 12, and you have a 4 which is a double helium, which means the system locks again. Balance field. And then if you can combine it in a right way, which now we call it ozone, then we understand why and how ozone behaves and becomes to be ozone. In the pattern of the magnetic field of plasma of the electrons, not the numbers of it. Then you understand why in some world of medicine or whatever, they use the ozone technology. But if you can use and create in a simple way plasma of the oxygen itself, it works hundreds of times, millions of times better than ozone. The separation of the fields to convert them from magnetic to gravitational, alkalineness to acidic, what we call the giving, is very, very closely understood in the world of the physical structure of the plasma, and not in the numbers and the way man calculates the numbers and the position. Every plasma, as it moves to find its position in the, what we call dimension of the plasma of an atom, does not stay in one place. It moves continuously, and it causes a rotation of the plasma of the other electrons and protons. And where the totality can absorb energy from another hydrogen to give it stability, we call it alkalineness. And in a position when the field is given to bring stability, it becomes acidic or become magnetic. Then in the depth of space, the combination of the fields of our RNA decides in which way we amalgamate in field strength, that we take the shape, the color, the structure of the destination point that allows us to have 20 fingers and 10 arms, but we have no eyes, because the field strength in that position can be absorbed by the strength of field of the emotion of the soul of the man, which is created from the interaction of the RNA level energies not in the level of DNA and what we call body of the man in the dimension of amino acid of the man. Understanding this is fundamental, because by adding our emotion or the strength of the soul, we decide if we're becoming magnetical or gravitational, we become alkaline or acidic in a given dimension that allows us to create a dimension of physicality. Look how an alkaline entity and an acidic entity make the water of this planet. Then you understand the rest of it, because that balance between the two, which hydrogen creates by its own plasma in the condition of the inertia of the magnetic field, and the plasmatic magnetic field of the Earth, allows the interaction of the other matter entities, where they come to life, they become dynamic because of the space gap in energy created by these liquids. These are important, especially for our scientists who are in the space development, energy development side. You have to understand, you have to grasp the totality of field motion in the dimension of the plasma, and the interaction of the relationship between the two, what we call the emotion of the plasma, to be able to travel the depth of the universe without ever diluting into it. I hope you understand. And those of you who understand can travel and make intention and dimension of the motion through interaction of the soul of the man, which means you control everything through intention, which has own dimension of physicality. It takes time to transfer energy, even in the Ganser state, in the body of the man, where through the emotion we can reach it before the physical access is too slow. It's far too slow to go through nervous system. Please understand and make, as I said from the beginning, one word for the same kind of effects. Then the word you understood stands to understand the rest of the science of this universe. If you understand what magnetical means, it should the same name as acidic. And alkalineness is gravitational, which means I pull enough energy to be able to hold on to other dimensions that I can, in effective, receive more energy as I need. But my intention is not there to convert. Any questions?
I've got a question. Is there any chance of you using a whiteboard to explain some of this?
Yes.
That would be handy. It's hard to keep everything visualized, I find, as I go along. But what I would need to do is
like a black and white.
Yes, I would need to replay the recording to pick up on some of the nuances, but perhaps some other people would have some good questions to ask here. Let's see what we have.
You see, we have an oxygen. Let's look at the matter state, because I look at the plasma state. In the matter state, if you look, you have a nucleus. I'm the worst one for physics when it comes to these things. You have the nucleus, and then you have your electrons, If you look, what is oxygen? How many electrons do they say we have in oxygen?
I believe it's 8, isn't it? Isn't that correct for oxygen?
Yep, you're there. Yeah, but if you look inside the plasma of the center, is 8 of each as well. Now, if you look at the strange phenomena, is for this to be complete, there's a problem. You need to have an extra pair. When you get the 2 extra pair, there is a bit missing here, isn't it? When this is missing, what you gotta do? You have to have this in balance with the 2 pieces here, and this one in the balance with the 2 pieces here. In fact, if you look at it, it's a deuterium missing. Then what is happening is you bring another elements here which can substitute these 2, but in reality now here is weaker because this is completed. The dynamic flow, field flow of gravitational magnetic field now in this one has received the electrons, but has not received the proton and the neutron in the field flow. 4 of them missing. This guy has now extra elements inside compared to its boundary. So, by the mass ratio, is stronger. What does it do? Start feeding the weaker in the center. It's the interaction of the, not the electrons now plays, is the interaction of the mass of the center which comes into play. Don't forget, this guy has a copper backing it. Or a zinc. This guy does not have that backing it. Most probably is very small, if that. But in the ratio has many more. But what does it do? In the, in the balance of the fields, the stronger will try to balance with the weaker. So it takes energy. Depletes energy. At the same time, it gives energy. Of the weaker, and it takes off the stronger. So, by the law of plasma, the stronger always gives to the weaker to bring the weaker to the balance that it can stay. In the back support, there's not much strength, but in balance support, this is heavier. What does it do? It starts taking energy, becomes magnetic, and in magnetical, it creates its own gravitation, becomes totally gravitational. In trying to bring field forces into balance, itself creates a condition of absorption of fields from the other one, and what we call alkalineness. Because by mass ratio, the liquid is higher than the elements which is in there. It's very simple.
Mass ratio.
Pardon?
Mass ratio as a strength.
Mass ratio as what?
As a strength.
Yes.
Because water is more higher.
No, your elements is freer to interact, to absorb. You can change over very, very quickly. Those of you who work in a space level and you're using the ganses, we don't have this in a plasma technology with nuclear reactors. We have this in ganses state plasmas, because the ganses you produce has a CuO connection or zinc oxide connection. And those of you who even produce CH3, you still dilute it in the water. CH3 powder to you has no value. So you always have a problem of field strength in the dimension of the matter state, which affects the pull and the push. This is why many of you cannot reach flight, because you don't understand this game played by the field strength of the plasma. Very, very simple. You understand?
Yes.
And you once, this is why in space development, when we use nuclear material like alpha and hydrogen, we achieve very rapid field balance. Because the hydrogen is a giver, and at the same time you're ionizing to give more energy, the energy just bursts open. In a gas state, you have a problem, because whatever you try to release, this oxygen is gravitational in the dimension of the Earth due to the inertia and magnetic field flow in a gaseous condition, which has a mixture of hydrogen. This is why when you add a drop of CH3, you see a different effect when you have a CO2 or COO or whatever it. This is why the alkalineness and acidic create a flow or what it creates a combination of the rotation of the plasma. And then you have motors without engine. You have rotation, perpetual rotation in the universe. When the gravitational chases magnetical to absorb from it, it creates a rotation, it creates a heartbeat, it creates a condition of energy. And then when you have a condition that the level of the energy in the hydrogen is much bigger than the oxygen, or gravitational cannot be hydrogen only, even the plasma, when the acidic, what you call magnetical, chases the gravitational, you get the reverse rotation without any motors. You don't need motors. We don't see any engines in any of the planet in the universe, and we haven't seen, what do you call it, a steam engine inside boiling. Is the interaction of the fields. This is one of the first discoveries I did when I understood rotation and creation of gravity. Because we see this phenomena in nuclear reactors. This is why it was so easy for me to build a dynamic nuclear reactor. Because in that state, I extract all the oxygen, which is a matter state, and I use plastic, which is totally carbon-based without any oxygen. So I take the element of gravitational field out of the equation, so I'm totally, it's at my grace how, if I add together or reduce it to the amount compared to the gravitational magnetic field of the position anywhere in the universe to be attracted or rejected. Zero time communication transportation. We have a problem, and the problem on this planet, those of you who are working on a space level, is your oxygen. The oxygen is a magnetic. You're stuck to this planet because of the waters you carry in your gases in your cores. You're already trying to overcome a powerful system which sits within the structure of center of this planet against what you already carry. Minimum things, you're already chained to it. You're laughing, Ahmadjan. You understand?
Thank you. Yes.
This is why those of you who are in the space level have a problem, and I tried to explain to you many times. Cut it. Cut the tie. Bring a balance. Put a nano material. But the problem is, it's a dynamic system. You fool yourself, I'm free, but you're actually a slave to the planet. You have to go to the next level, which is the higher, but you decide the interaction of the field, which means it's not magnetical to this planet and it's not magnetical to any other planet, while it's not gravitational to this planet and the rest of the universe, which is literally sits in the dimension of neutron. When most of you can create a neutron plasma, then you can fly instantly anywhere in the universe. One of our Chinese knowledge seekers has reached, but he cannot see it. He's passed the state of the liquid into the gas level. But he cannot see it, he doesn't understand it. This is why some of you reported, I lost my balls. 2 of them are not there. Because you created the condition of the plasma, which is in hydrogen level, not in the oxygen level. And the hydrogen level is very weak. Gravitational pull of this planet puts it into atmosphere in no time. Anywhere in the universe. Most probably those of you who lost their balls are somewhere in planet Zeus.
That's fun.
Good morning, Armand. You lost 2, I know.
I didn't lose them.
Have you found them?
They landed up there. We found it
Landed up
later.
there on planet Zeus. This is what we have to understand. Stop laughing. I know you get there. Nobody has been so close to flying than Arman, but he doesn't see this, and there's no way you can do it. Because we tied ourselves. This is why the original nuclear reactors 129 showed such a response. One was matter state, which is weaker, and the other one was a gas state, which could deliver a little bit harder because it was pulling more. So as it came, it digitalized. Higher and higher number. Because the original giver was coming from the plasmas inside, which we fill them with hydrogen and all sorts of things, and we put a gas one in the other side, trying to do the same with the liquid. Even when you use liquid water as cooling system, you interfere with the system, because now the hydrogen is in proximity, it becomes part of the system. As I said, I will not do it for you, but I can show you how fast you can travel the depth of universe. The minute one of you finds out, I hope you don't travel with it, you stay behind to tell us what you did. So, in going into understanding the dimension of what you call alkalineness and acidic, or the same words as it should be gravitational and magnetical, then you understand you have attached yourself to this planet with the gas liquid. You have to find a way that what we saw, the space opens up, it creates a dimension of gravity chasing the magnetical, or is it magnetical chasing gravity to fulfill its needs. And then in that point, You create clock or anti-clocks, attraction or repulsion, according to the strength of the neutron, which is balance in energy, but in totality prepared to play either game, giving or taking, to keep its independence and individuality. In a way, what you do, you create a condition of the central planet, one against the other, and all the planets carry plasma condition at that level of neutron. It's the strength of one in the dimension of the others decides if you get attracted or repelled. I think the only thing left for me is just literally make you one and show you on the spoon fed. Feed me till I see, and then you want to still see it. You have a delicious soup, but you don't know how it was made. The team who's working on this space system, you understood part of it last week. Now you understand more of it this week. The condition of the change of alkalineness to acidity is the direction of the flow of the field. And you can choose that at any point, how much of it. If you go at 10 meters, you play the strength of the field of the universe, let's say planet Moon. If you go at 4 meters, you're on the edge of the galaxy. And if you play 1 meter, you are on the border of the universe. And then if you play very, 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 very tight, reach the creator. It sounded a lot foreign to you, these teachings today, but those people who are at the edge of the science like Arman and very few which are on the edge have all understood. It's becoming more and more apparent, it becomes more and more clear in which direction. It's exactly always opposite to what you think. But in fact it's part of the totality. As I always said, if man was not so physical, he could see through the field of the energy of the universe, man could have flown when the dinosaurs were here. We are millions of years behind because we haven't understood this. And it doesn't need any chemistry lab in the universe with all the creatures of it. None of them has a chemistry lab, centrifuge and everything else. They understand how to control the gravitational field forces of their giving and taking, and being able in controlling it can create their own motion and their own dimension. Any other question?
Well, certainly a lot to digest there, Mr. Keshe. Nicholas.
It's nothing to digest, it's to comprehend. It's not food anymore, it's energy. It's been chewed. You just got to understand how to swallow it. That's it.
Yes.
Mr. Keshe, this is Mosfek. I have a question.
Yes.
So if you wind the deuterium in one direction, you have the magnetical, and if you wind the deuterium in another direction, that's the neutron condition, then you have the gravitation.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? I'm a layman in the world of physics and plasma. I don't understand anything. How do you wind it? Just because you imagine or you understand what the winding is?
How do I wind it?
How can you tell us, teach us, how you say it's winding, clockwise or anti-clockwise?
It's the reverse direction.
So that we know, but how you say deuterium, you put the name on it. What is a deuterium? Deuterium has got two elements inside it, which is proton and neutron, and
Yes.
you got one electron hanging. Do you know
So-
how you make, what does it, what makes it to be what it is? And what directional rotation it gives to it? Do you know what it means to be or having a atomic plasma of a deuterium? How do you get it rotating? How does deuterium goes clockwise, is electron or anti-clockwise? There's only one way to do it, or maybe two ways. And I've taught it in all the books and teachings from book 1. Explain to us, then we can all learn.
I'm not sure whether I'll be able to explain it correctly, but if we have GaNs of hydrogen at one end and a tritium on the other end, then that can initiate the process. So tritium can initiate the process of winding in the direction of magnetical, and the hydrogen, on the other hand, will wind it, hydrogen GaNs or plasma will wind it in the other direction. So these two can be used to
Okay,
release
I'm
and
the lucky one. I'm the lucky one in this case. I have a pen. You have to tell me, I become your arm. You explain to me, I follow you. Okay?
Okay.
Let me understand. You tell me what you want me to draw.
So you draw a circle, which is, let's say that's the deuterium core circle, which is the deuterium. Now, if we put the tritiums somewhere, let's call it outside. Yeah, let's call it outside.
Is it good enough?
Yeah, so tritium there, so the deuterium, so it rotates in one direction with
okay. Can I explain for our people who don't understand?
All right.
Deuterium, we have a hydrogen, we have deuterium, and we have tritium. These are all coordination of an element which has a single electron floating around the center. Hydrogen has one element inside. Deuterium has 2 elements inside. Tritium has 3 elements. Correct? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you tell me this guy, deuterium is here, and this guy, tritium is here, okay?
Yes, and then you, just like the star formation, the triangle, you put the other one.
Which other one?
So we have deuterium and tritium, and so we are left with hydrogen.
Where hydrogen?
So we form a triangle.
Oh, you want the hydrogen here?
Yes.
Okay, this is hydrogen. You introduce hydrogen, yes?
So now the balance between hydrogen and tritium, so if the hydrogen has more influence on the deuterium, it will rotate in one direction.
This is, wait. I'm just trying to do your job.
Okay.
So you say this one is here. So you want to use the hydrogen
so
to pull the tritium clockwise or anti-clockwise?
I'm not looking at tritium right now. Right now I'm looking at deuterium with respect to hydrogen and tritium. So hydrogen will pull in one direction. Tritium will...
Which way?
Which way? Hydrogen is the gravitational side, so it will go, that way. And tritium will be the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So this, what I'm saying is that hydrogen will influence the deuterium in the direction of gravitational, and tritium will influence the deuterium in the direction of magnetical. So these two, now the position of deuterium with respect to these two will determine which way it
You
rotates.
see, these two play gravitation. These two play magnetical.
How about deuterium and tritium then?
This one
Yes.
is gravitation. This one is magnetical.
This I don't understand, this part, the last part you wrote. If you can explain that one.
You see, here you have by mass the heavier. Yes?
Yes.
Here, the electrons are the same, so electrons don't play any game. The electrons are not there. There's no electron here, there's no electron here, there's no electron there. So, what is left is what I call the, oh, like this. What is left is the, what we call the mass inside. By the law of physics, by law of plasma, the one is a bigger plasma always give to feed the lighter to bring it in balance to itself. So here is magnetical. Yeah? Deuterium, but out of the mass is giving more to get. But in getting hydrogen, it gives to make the balance of that it can receive more on the gravitational side. Even though you have 2, here you have 3, in respect to this, your 2 stands equal, you have an extra field which is heavier. So this is feeding this too. It's very easy. Work on the mass plasma. Anytime you want to do it, look at it, understand it. It's very simple. Here, the situation is totally different. You got 2 extra, and of the neutron order. But here you have 1 of the electron order. So this neutron has to fulfill something which is not here. So the flow is much, much higher. So it is gravity. It is gravitation will go this way because it has to give. But in this one is magnetical. It has to pull in. This is why we change direction. We give on the side of the weak and we take on the strength of the strong. When you look at the deuterium, tritium, you have 1 extra neutron. But when you look at the tritium hydrogen, you have 2 extra neutron, which are already in balance with themselves. They have created directional rotation of themselves. Here you have none. You have an empty space with a balanced field, because it's not that they're balanced, they don't know anything. They have a balanced, stronger field. Then they have to give, so they become magnetic. In so many ways, center of nothingness has a strength to absorb, to make itself its own. All hydrogen is doing is trying to become a deuterium, because it's trying to get one from here, or trying to condition that itself, this becomes a deuterium, and this loses 1 to stay, step down. When you give, and you have to give direction of field flow is how you give and where you put the position of giving. This goes back to what we spoke about, creating gold. You always need a third one, that in the friction of the two, you put this in the middle here. Our friends are doing very hard. They don't know how they produce golds. They produced milligram of something a couple of weeks ago. 15 milligram. It looks like gold, or is a material which stays in that dimension. The research people in the Keshe Foundation, as I said, we always share our research. I put it through. Nobody needs to know where it comes from. But Rick, can I send you a picture? Then you can share it. Let me. This is what was produced very recently in one of the research centers. And I think it's, if I'm right, it's 15 milligram of something. And I have to pull it up. And I send it to you. You can see it. We don't want to disclose the research center where it comes from. I have to find it. Our people create so much of different links. Nobody knows where we are anymore. I send it to you. You can open it. It's what is collected. We'll find out soon what it is. But it comes from the same principle. What happens if you do it anti-clockwise? To open a new of the same thing which was there. Why do we open a new one when it's already there? Just give me a second. I have to pull this thing up. Okay, I got it. I'm going to show you how, if you understand this. I think our colleagues, when they did it themselves, understood fully. This is a new research center we have set up, and we are repeating the so many beta technology. The only thing is we have to find out if it's actually gold or whatever, and we'll let you know. As usual, we can't keep any secret. Keshe Foundation is the worst place to come for a secret. Okay. Let me clean it up. Okay. Now, have a look at this. We said you can create gold. I think if I'm correct, is it 15 milligram or whatever? Rick, can you go
Yes,
to
sir.
our secure line? I'm gonna find your face somewhere.
You always have.
Well, as
So
usual, I have a
secure,
photo.
I'm not there.
No, you are there. It's just I'm getting too old to do these things. Great. Then you can show it in so many answers. Mashrek's dilemma. He thinks he likes, but if you create anti-clockwise value, there we are. It's coming through. So, what happened if you create? You received it.
Yes. You
Okay,
just get
it's
it up
great.
there.
You see your stuff. I stop sharing. You can come in. Where's my pen? I lost. Stop sharing. Can you share it for us, please? You see, this is the dust which has been produced. It's part of the research development which goes on. And we can now create matters anywhere in the space. We have found the secret. But would it be the same if it's clockwise or anti-clockwise? Or can we create white gold or yellow gold? Is the white gold clockwise version of the anti-clockwise yellow gold in the friction of the field strength with the atmosphere? Why do we get two different colors of the same element? Is one of them clockwise, anti-clockwise? Did the plasma come into that direction? Or the matter was created in the direction of was what they call it, clockwise or anti-clockwise? The same process goes with the creation of um, elements, gases. As I said, one of our best knowledge seekers has managed, but he doesn't know how he done it. I was talking to him a few days ago. He says, everything just exploded, so much gas. But because he hasn't understood that he has managed to create a condition that the field flow of the elements create condition in balance with gravitational magnetic field of the planet. It becomes a gas condition. If you create it in a different dimension, strength becomes good. This is why in the present world of physics says if you change the atomic structure, or what do you call it, environmental structure like pressure or temperature, you can go from liquid to gas or to solid. In the world of science of plasma, you have to understand the condition is not much relevant. You can create condition of the plasma where the interaction of the fields create, manifest its own plasma. This is how the body of the man is created. When you have an egg and a sperm going in together in the womb of the mother, it's not that. This is the whole fantasy of the world of science which has gone haywire. The liquid of the womb of the mother, the liquid which the egg and the sperm came together is giving it energy. The soul of the mother is the feeder of it. Is it the right hand turn or is it anti-clockwise which makes it a boy or a girl? In reality, at the end of it is this. We have come up with all chromosomes, one extra, two short, one up, one down, everything else. Don't forget, it's the soul which is created first. Is it the clockwise soul or anti-clockwise soul which becomes a girl or a boy? That's all it is. Why do you get the yellow gold and the white gold? Can I change the direction of the womb in the span of the universe in the plasmatic field? I can guarantee, because I enforced it. In that enforcement, I get every child to be boy. Go back to the teaching, go back into the writings. Does not matter what we produce, we have produced the matter. Our team in the background, they say, they listen to me, I'll read it for you. They say, the guy can't keep any secret. This is a message, just come as I open the thing. It says, we will soon know what was produced, because they've sent it for testing. Because now we understand more. Is it when the love of the mother, who is in love, a giver, creates a girl? Or is it the love of the father, who is a giver, creates a girl? Which one loves more? That in that love dictates the position of the rotation. Why so many families have all girls? Chromosome, why that? How come we have the same thing in the span of universe? What happened to their chromosomes? Does a chromosome still exist? Or is it the enforcement of the direction that when the one clock, anti-clock, whatever comes together in a field for balance of the plasma, it creates an interaction field residual, which they both want to give to be together. We call it a child. So you can have child anywhere in the universe. Isn't it why the season dictates when animals reproduce? Isn't it because of the position of the field of the earth in respect to the sun, and the gravitational magnetic field which can radiate from the sun adds energy more from the planet, which leads to creation of the clockwise and anti-clockwise, or emotion that it creates a reproduction cycle? The truth is, it's there, not in all other garbage we hear. Because look at it, what does it change in the spring? Earth becomes closer to the sun. So what happens? Field strength of the sun has more say. But at night, the field strength of the earth has more say. But it's just in the balanced position. The balance brings happiness. Happiness brings reproduction, because we can do what we like. Emotional change according to the condition of the position. Why do some animals go through that cycle in autumn, winter, that by spring they have the children? How do animals connect themselves to the cycle of the seasons? The only what is the season? And it's the position of the earth, the sun, how much field comes that interacts with the emotion of the animal. How come suddenly all the animals reproduce in the spring? And then it's the same on the other side. How come in line of near equator we don't see so much spring, summer? You go crazy if you live in Accra. How come in the middle of the winter we have children? Babies are born, chicks have chicks, and God knows what. And then we have the same there. Which one was summer, which one was winter? We only have rainy day and a dry days, or rainy season and dry season. Go back beyond it, understand it. Does it become the directional field flow? Is it the clockwise? What happened into the dimension of the race in Africa, which then at the age of 13, 14, the sexuality decided by the total constants of the field force of the tribe? And how does this consensus decide we're going to lose 2 men? By that time this girl is born, ready to give child in a few months time or a few years time, that can compensate that every child have a wife and a husband. Everything is calculated through the field strength of the soul and the planet. You go crazy if you travel in Africa, because we are told in England, spring comes, you see the ships on the hills of Wales and say, voila, spring is here, it's the lambing time. The flowers open. But what does it do? The only difference is we have become much closer to the sun. The field strength has changed. And our field strength gives more and more of the receiving and less and less of the giving of the planet. Now you have to fulfill what is missing. You create a field which is the dimension of the life to find balance. Why do women go through the cycle the same as men go through the cycle every month? Have you heard they say, if you eat this, you have a boy, if you eat that, you have a girl? They change the balance of the alkalineness or acidic, or giving and taking. I want to give more. A mother always gives, so it'll be a daughter. But the boys are actually the givers. The more they give, because the man by nature is a giver by the structure of his physicality. The woman is a taker, is gravitation. Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? You find all the answers in the universe, in the structure of the life of the man, and if you understand it, you can fly. In any dimension in the universe. redefine the physics. Stop calling it the gravity and alkalineness. It is all pulling. Stop calling it magnetical and acidic. It's all giving. It's just surplus energy which has to go out because the guy cannot hold on to it. It's too much in love. Learn with me physics. Physics is fun. It's just how much you want to learn to be fun and how much fun you like to have. Any other question? I hope I
Mr. Keshe, Nicholas asks in the chat, first he says, supposedly an alkaline environment in the body of man is healthy and an acidic one is unhealthy. Is this true? And how would you explain this from a plasmatic view? And then he goes on,
let's answer the first part.
Mm-hmm.
In English, I've said many times, it's horses for courses. Alkaline, if there was all alkaline, then how do you create life to give? So in some part is alkaline, in some part is acidic. It depends where and what we need and what it needs to give. The heart of the man continuously changes its strength from alkalineness to acidic. That's why you got a heartbeat. Which cycle is it? Pumping out alkalineness, or actually the pumping out is gravitational. So when you ask these questions, try to answer it yourself, because you're all intelligent enough, you understand enough that this is a cycle of life. The body of the man is in a balanced condition. When you give it too much energy and it hasn't got enough to take, it starts storing. So it storing its energy for the future time, then becomes a sac, and then you call it a cancer. If you add alkalineness, a system which needs to take energy from it, that sac is not produced. So you call it alkaline goods or acidic according to the environment. In one point could be acidic for the next door of it, but it's alkaline for what it is there, that it absorbs the energy from what is gathered there. Cancer can be eradicated in no time. If you understand this, you can walk in a position, walk with a cancer. I said the new systems, within 5 seconds you can walk in and out, you have no cancer.
Okay, perhaps we can look at the second part of the question, where he says certain foods supposedly foster alkaline or acidic in the body, or gravitational or magnetic, or giving or receiving. They must go back and forth, and giving creates an imbalance that in return receives energy and grace from source through soul exchange. I think you just more or less answered that part of the question. But maybe there's something else you want to add through those words.
If you go a step further in what you said, and if you understand it, how does man create his own cancer? Why cancers are emotional? Is a cancer or emotion which is created by cancer, is the giving by the soul to satisfy the soul of physicality, that the physicality is not prepared to accept, is not have the strength to accept, and that energy, because it has the strength of it but not the position of it, accumulates and creates a new cell which we call cancer. In fact, our soul is a giver, it's alkaline. And our body receives so much from it that it cannot handle. It wants to give to stop. It satisfies the need, but it gives more than it needs. But in the condition of the cell being weaker, receiving from the soul, the other cells around it absorb the energy which is directly coming from the soul. And then in that high energy, with what is in the emotional level of the body of the man, in the strength of the soul of the man, in the dimension of physicality which contains water, create a solid condition and you have cancer. Emotional cancer does not come from acidic of the body. It comes from the giving of the soul of the man. And man doesn't understand this. Because there is a shortage, there is a lack. The soul gives so much to satisfy. And the emotionality of the physicality receives it. But the physical part stores it. Then it creates this matter of the state, which becomes the center of the cancer. In fact, it's a pregnancy through the soul of the matter by creating the womb condition of the energy that creates the reproduction of new cells and a new strength. So the soul creates a new environment, that this new environment needs to fulfill, and in fulfilling a new life independent of the others, we call it a cancer cell, which means a new cell which does not have the seed of the physicality, but it has the seed of the emotion. But because it's so high, it attaches itself to something to hang on to. Any metals will do, because it's so high the strength, it needs a higher order of elements. It doesn't attack to the hydrogen. You don't get a cancer in with the oxygen which is in the liquid of your body. It creates an energy level that it can hang on to, attach itself to, and then once it's there, it starts feeding and become a womb with an egg inside it and a fetus. Now it starts growing. That's how cancer comes. So the man of the medicine, if they understand this, if they interrupt the motion of the physicality of feeling it, because now that you created it, it has a link with the emotional physical dimension of the soul and the physicality. You go in, they take the tumor out, you come back next week, you got another one. Now something went on with the chemotherapy. We didn't, darling, you didn't sort out the giving of the soul. Which means satisfy the strength of the field which is coming in the giving, and satisfy the emotion of the physicality. When there is a disbalance between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man, the energy soul of the physicality is weaker, it receives. But in that position is like rubbing of the hands together. The sun and the moon and the earth together creates that light. And that light leads to creation of new elements. Then you create yourself cancer. You seed it. And then once that seed is created, because it has to be in a balance with the rest of the elements of the body of man, that the whole thing starts. You create a gravitational field, which is actually its energy first, but it becomes matter. That's why when you come and ask me what is my cancer, I said, excuse me, can you go and check your blood test? Then you see what is elevated. Then you know if it's a copper, it's to do with physical tangibility. If it is zinc, it has to do with the emotion of the reproduction. If it is something else, it's to do with the disbalance between the genetic and DNA. Why at the present time? No world of physics, science, technology can do anything and call it a genetic defect. What is a genetic defect? Only thing you need to do is balance the phosphorus. It balances itself. Any genetic defect, even in the full strength of the growth, can be changed if you know how to feed the fields of the plasma of the phosphorus to it. It balances itself. No one should be born with genetic defect. Or if they are born, if you know how to do it, you can correct it very easily. Because the world of science has not understood the dimension of the rotation, the strength of the rotation of the phosphor in the backbone of the amino acid dictates in which branch what is absorbed. They look at the end as usual. They don't look at the cause. Because if you place a slightly different strength phosphor, you cannot attract or you attract different condition for it to be. If you cut a little piece at the stem of the branch, it shows how much apple that branch can carry till it breaks. And where the apples sit is exactly like a DNA branch. And why does it has this twist in it? Because it's the position and strength of the phosphor which creates that twist. The rest of it is amino acid on the right and the branches. I was explaining this to my son, who's a pharmacist, who's in the field of pharmaceutical and science. They don't teach our children the right thing. And then when you teach them the right way, they see a different world. Because even at that high level of education with masters and PhDs and whatever doctorates, professor level, they have been taught the wrong thing. They are professor in the wrong education. So how do you want to correct it? Because now they have loaded so heavy. Oh my God, it's easier to teach a child in the first class about DNA than the professor in DNA and pharmaceutical on the top. Because the arrogance comes in. The arrogance is, how stupid have I been to accept all this all my life? Now I have to say my hands up. Very few do. And then we go for a stem cell and this injection, and you go to Dr. Rodriguez, he knows what he's doing. You walk up. He's a miracle man. He understood the word of the creation. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day? We're nearly into 3 hours. Do you remember
Yeah.
when we were young, there was a song called I'm a Medicine Man?
Yes.
Now listen to the song of it and then you understand. It gives our age away, but it doesn't matter.
I'll make a note of that for the music class coming up tomorrow.
Any other questions about 3 o'clock?
Yeah, we like to keep it to 3 hours now. I know that would be good for you, Mr. Keshe, and probably for these workshops. Let me see, what else have we got here? If there's anything quick we can look at.
Can I have a question?
There we go. Jalal always likes to come in
At the last
toward
one.
the end there.
Yeah. Good day, Mr. Keshe.
Good day to you.
Mr. Keshe, what is the importance of human being to the universal council, to the universe? What is the importance in the human being regarding to other beings here on Earth?
For those who are arrogant, nothing. For those who are humble, jewel in the crown of the creation, in showing how you can carry collective essence of totality of large number of things with you as an energy field and essence and emotion.
And is he responsible for other entities here on Earth to elevate them?
Oh, what do you mean by that?
If he is elevated, I mean, do only for himself, or he must be responsible for the others?
It's both, depends in which dimension and direction and in what we are talking about. We are responsible because you know something, I just showed you something. This is something human race has never understood, and we wish they understand, and the faster they understand, the faster we move on, and that is, if I can find my pen. If you go back, just even on the picture we have, we said the strongest The strongest, if you go by size, gives to the weakest. If you have a stronger soul of a higher order, you give so much to this soul that it becomes the same as you. But the question is, how did you become strong? It's the banana, isn't it? The more you peel the banana, the more banana you get, which has got more energy in it for you to eat. The more you give from the skin, the more flesh you have to give. Stronger, more manifested. But does it mean that because it's of the highest or higher order, it taps to the end of the banana, and this little chap taps to the beginning of the banana? And we think that by giving to make this one, this will come to here, nothingness. But in fact, in doing that, it has created more to take from the field of universe. It never changes. The only thing it does, next one, and next one. I was explaining this about viruses very recently, I can't remember too. How do the viruses grow? Oh, it was one of my sons. That's how viruses grow. Viruses are a pack of energies. And once it balances to one with the other one, now we go to the next, and that's why they grow so fast. And once you use something which can take the energy away, the rest collapse. That's why if you look, as we speak about alkalineness, the energy which can attract and attach to itself to the entity is through the strength of its oxygen. Otherwise it cannot do, because gravitational oxygen. So all the viruses on this planet or in this space will attach themselves to the strength level of the oxygen of the body of the man in majority of the time, in the atmospheric condition of the earth. And that's why when we showed the Ebola of the crisis which was in Africa, in Sierra Leone, they immediately confiscated all the systems from the scientists. Because all we did, we put elements in there to drain the energy from the protein. No, we call it the virus. Virus is attached energy packed to the amino acid. And now we know it only can be attached mainly on this planet to the oxygen level. So you put anything with the oxygen in it, CO2s, O2, or a mixture of much stronger, the higher the element you have, the higher strength oxygen you are carrying within the structure. And nobody understands this, puzzles me for years. Nobody sees this. You see CuO and ZnO both have oxygen, but the strength of the oxygen in this is much higher than the strength of the oxygen in this. When you have an oxide hydrogen, which we call it the water, the energy of the oxygen here to attach itself to two hydrogen is very, very low. It's very weak. It's this end of the banana, not much in it. Where here you have much stronger, more of the banana is here. And then if you're there, you have more of the banana, you're here. As we say, always saying, a lot of understand, whoever's got the mustache, it's not your uncle, is it? Just because it's an oxygen you're putting there. The strength of the oxygen in its level can match with this. Why some elements never get oxidized? Because within the structure themselves, they carry energy level of oxygen which can never be attracted to it, because they carry the balance energy with themselves. They don't need the oxygen to balance it. The field plasma condition. I understand this, you understand most of the world of the plasma. in the universe change the oxygen to something else. This could be Zn, and this becomes a plutonium. In planet Zeus, Zn is the gravitational field strength. It only can attach to something else if it has that in it, and which spectrum, because oxygen on its own on this planet is not mono-level. We have a spectrum of the gravitational magnetic field of oxygen. Here matches hydrogen, here matches zinc, here matches plutonium. And nobody understands this. That's why you say, oh, CO is a better alkalineness, has a better alkalineness. Or CO doesn't work with this. All you do, look at what strength attaches itself to the copper, or to the zinc, or to the water. That's why everything gets oxidized on this planet. Oxygen is a balancer of it. It doesn't get carbonated, it doesn't get zinconized, it gets oxygenized. Means it has within it, as part of its structure, balanced field energy of giving and taking. Redefine the physics and chemistry, you just walk through it. Thanks God. Another man of fallacy has gone from us. He can't add any more rubbish into the world, which he had no understanding of. The world of science is much better off without Stephen Hawking. Now, senses will start talking, because the man who pushed himself to be nothingness to everything is gone. Now we can discuss science and true meaning of it. Any other question?
We have a couple of more items here, Mr. Keshe. One quick question back on the coins. Mark asks, I would like to carry this coin in my pocket and show others what's occurring on this planet. It's so beautiful in its physicality, and more importantly, what this coin represents. If the coin is lost or stolen, what's the policy? Thank you, Mr. Keshe. The KF is singing the song of our souls.
The coins will be issued at the number of the citizens of each nation where the factory is in the time to come. Within it carries the full dimension of what the science, present science can tell. Within it will be, what you see will be in it, that it knows is you. Nobody can steal one. But when you show it, they give you everything. As if you're Chinese, you know what Li Fong means. You can call upon, they'll be served. Just go on the internet and put Li Fong on and see what it means. Man who gives unconditionally. And it always helps. When you carry this coin in your pocket, it means I'm committed to peace. So everyone gives to you because they know nothing comes out of you but giving. So you have given so much that at that point they give to you gladly. You can carry it. It carries your name. Doesn't matter what the institute carries it. In the time will come, the institutes will carry and they give it to people to carry according to their institutes, and governments will give it out with the greatest of pleasure. It means you'll survive anywhere on this planet. They'll mean, in a way, we replace this coin with what you call it the Western world social security. No man will die of hunger. We program it in time that you can walk in anywhere and the food is there as much. If you want to still have a steak, you can have a steak, but the essential that you don't feel hungry is there. Just give me time, I tell you. The more coins you buy, the more manners you bring to freedom. That's all it means. You make more people to be equal to you if you find life pleasurable to be alive and to be part of the human race. You will understand. Don't forget what I said about the coin a long time ago, a few weeks ago. You buy a coin, you still get the increase of it, you still get the benefit of it, but you give it to somebody else. With it, he can have the life of it. I carry the coin. It's very much, if you look at it, you know, you have a credit card, you give it to your child to use it when he goes shopping because he has the PIN number. But the card is still yours and the benefit becomes you. But another man has a PIN number to survive. Take as many as you can because it becomes the sign of the freedom of the man. And it becomes this, not the symbol, but the reality of it. One of our plans is in the very near future that the Keshe Foundation factories, the way we did in Italy, if you remember, we're not talking something we're going to do, we did when it came. If you remember a couple of years ago when we had the earthquake in Italy, I opened the door of the Keshe Foundation factory to the Italian government. It wasn't our asset anymore if they needed it. Now they understand it. Whenever, again, another accident happens and we are in there to deliver, our factories open up and become part of the asset of the nation. Till the point when it's not needed. They don't become a structure of that nation, but they become a way to alleviate the pain of the nation. And then, if you look at it, we'll have so much surplus that it comes out that still will be on the floor. The one who wants to take it and put something in it, they do. The one who needs it and doesn't have it will not go hungry. But we are not somebody who talks. We've done it, we do it. It's something I've done all my life. And it somehow makes a human out of a lot of people. In a way we understand, we are part of each other. When I take too much, then it means somebody else suffering. Look at the state of England, how much they've taken. And look at the poverty they've created in Africa. How much can you stash in the cellars of a nation? But what can you do with it? Or is it the greed of the man? Take the coins, buy as many as you can, but remember, it says on it, we are here to serve, and we are here to serve, and we are here to serve, and not to be served. We buy the coin to serve humanity, give it to the one. In the data background, will keep every person on this planet, will carry what happens then, nothing. There'll be so many people going into the factories to work that they can make it, that others can have it. One of my biggest dilemmas in a few years' time is how we can keep the people outside coming to work and they don't want any pay. I have a spare time, I'm making it for others. But where would the financial income of the foundation come from? We get paid by the soul of the universe. I make lamb out of every human being on this planet. By giving man equality and correctness and correct conduct. You've seen it. I'm very open. I walked into Shenzhen lab. I couldn't understand the first time I went in there. There was something I couldn't. The second time was on the table. It didn't take me seconds. I shut it down. They tried to convince me. And the convention came when they themselves realized how bad the situation is. And still the greed of one closed it and the other. I'm glad that my knowledge seekers are going to have a good life from now on, unless they do something wrong with it themselves. They're gorgeous people. This day we pay them the highest possible, and setting up the factories which are coming up in China, all my knowledge seekers will become part of teaching the nation. We have already put the request out. Please, if you're Chinese, respond to QQ and WeChat for Monday afternoon that we want to get the Chinese Keshe Foundations ready for the expansion of Keshe Foundation across China and across the world. We need Chinese teachers to come out and teach us the ethos of the work, because people have to learn it. We should not become classes that we just teach and people have to understand. We have to teach the essence, the soul of the knowledge. We have more people to do. Then we give a coin to everyone and let's see what happens. The coin in your pocket means you have become. You need to receive. When you show your coin, it means I need. Nobody will take it up you. They just supply you. You will see. I'm not a dreamer. Whatever I've said, it happens, and now you'll come to it. Buy a coin, carry it in your pocket, and you'll see it.
Mr. Keshe, we have one other thing, which is possible, which is the KF Wiki. That Klaus has put a video together showing how to use the KF Wikipedia.
KF Wikipedia. Yes, I forgot about that one. We had so much news.
Yeah.
KF Wikipedia is completed and is operational. And now we need all of you of different languages to come in and complete it. They put German, I think it's English, Arabic, and German. We need people who can go and update all the languages and fill it up. It's taken, God knows, months and months of work, and it's completed this week. Keshe Wiki is complete. Languages are. Klaus worked a lot, very hard. Thank you very much, Klaus, to see this coming into operation. He wouldn't take any more nonsense anymore. He wanted it, and a German mentality of I need, I get. I got it there going. Would you like to introduce it, Klaus?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Maybe Rick, you play the video first, and then we can.
Yes, sure. Let me get that teed up here. I've got it lined up, and I think we're ready to go. Let me double check my sharing. I think we're okay. Okay, so this is what, a 3-minute video that describes the KF Wikipedia. Okay, here we go.
The KF Wiki, the free plasma cyclopedia of the Keshe Foundation, is now available in every language. The wiki helps us to work together around the globe on one document to experience the feeling of working as one soul for one purpose, bringing the plasma knowledge as a gift to mankind. The wiki is built from knowledge seekers for knowledge seekers. Start typing in www.kfwiki.org. At the landing page, you can select your preferred language. If you click on English, you see the existing version in English language, and you can make yourself a picture about what is available currently. Feel free to navigate and collect ideas for your own wiki in your own language, and keep in mind that every language receives its own wiki with its own domain. You can not only translate the current version, you can build up collectively your own content, which can then be translated back into English again. If you go back to the landing page, click on one of the language buttons, and you can start today translating the existing English version into your mother language and prepare plasma knowledge for your country. Currently, you see 2 new languages, German and Arabic. By clicking on it, you still see English content, It's a copy of the English version. This makes it easier for you to translate, and you can start translating directly using the built-in visual editor. In the next days, we will activate language wikis for French, Spanish, and Italian language. If you would like to help to translate the KF Wiki into your mother language and build up new content, write an email to wiki@spaceshipinstitute.org, and we will bring you together with the existing language wiki groups. And if not done yet, we will activate your new language wiki link. Start today preparing plasma knowledge in your mother language. Let's bring together the plasma knowledge as a gift to mankind.
Okay, thank you very much, Klaus. And I was wondering if anybody had any questions for Klaus, since we have him available here.
Can you add more languages, Klaus?
Of course we do, Armin. we have heard the French, Spanish, Italian. They will be online in the next days or even today, because as we decided, we make copies of the current wiki, and this makes it much more easier by using this visual editor to translate. And for these languages I just mentioned, Italian, French, and Spanish, there are already parts of it translated in the background before we came out with the language wiki. So this part we see now in the English version will be soon also in these other 4, including the German one, languages. And then we expect in the single parts of the language wikis a lot of other not only translations, building up material where every language group, and we have a lot of them, will build up and develop its own system or its own structure. And others will then copy from them and translate it into other languages. So this is what we have planned for months, and thank you very much, especially to Winds, who spent hundreds of hours on it to realize it in the background. Because what you will see when you start this wiki and you move from one language wiki to another language wiki, you of course can use always the same username. And this was a bit tricky in the background to realize. If we would have started this months ago, then we would have a really mess now, because then the username from the French wiki would have been another one like the one from the English, or the other way around. And what you can also do now, you can cross-link between the different language wikis, which means if you translate an article from English into Italian, for instance, you can link from English to Italian so that all English readers see that this article is also available in Italian or in French. So the groups will start communicating with each other, and we build up also a chat room for the editors, for the knowledge seekers who will build their wikis so that they can communicate with each other. So please, who likes to support, likes to give in this kind of way, to give knowledge, to write down experiences, to translate current articles like creation of ganses or nanocoating, please write an email to wiki@spaceshipinstitute.org, and we will soon have a meeting of all the editors to arrange it, because there is one thing which was not mentioned in the video. We will have a kind of review system in the wiki, but review from knowledge seekers. We have just to have a look, like at Wikipedia, that the right information is inserted and is edited, because as we see at Wikipedia, companies would like to place advertising and so on. So this we also have to make here a kind of review system in the Wikipedia, in the KFWiki system. And therefore we also look for knowledge seekers in the single languages who can have a look, who can be reviewer, or who can just be the guard for the language. Please just write an email to wiki@spaceshipinstitute.org that we can organize this in the background and that we can set up a proper structure.
Okay, that sounds great, Klaus. Thank you. Any other questions for Klaus about the Wikipedia? About how you can participate in it?
I think one of the ways we need to do, if people go into what we set up as research papers to be published, those who are publishing the papers bring a link into the Wikipedia and put the titles on it, all the links which you discussed in your paper. This way you build up new dimensions and new topics, and on the other hand, we need to introduce new languages of the science into the public domain, and this becomes one of the ways to do it. In so many ways, there is nobody to change things unless they need correction. But as usual, we were waiting for this child to be born, and now it's here. We can feed it to grow, but please do not abuse Wiki. The way it's set up is taking a lot of work, and we need people who can read in the languages and go through it and make sure there is no what do you call it, inappropriate language or words in it, because we've seen this happening before in other wikis, and it took them a long time to clean it out. Just watch, and if you see it, report it, and let's see what we can do. There is a position which, can you stop him please? There is a situation which has come up with the Keshe Foundation, and we have to warn the foundation supporters. If this matter becomes public, we have already set systems for it to protect ourselves. It's something which had nothing to do with the foundation. We were infiltrated, and the second we found out, we set the apparatus to protect ourselves. There is no, we don't see any damages to us, but there is a structure that people might come back and say why. Once we got to know, we took action, and because of it you've seen some changes in the foundation in the past, and we stay solid in our work. But as you've seen, many people come in to the foundation to, in a way, for their own benefit in different shape and forms, and in this case can become public, but in a way has nothing to do with us, because has been there before foundation comes to it. And one of the other things with this wiki is, please make sure that we find parallel in this knowledge. We find very good parallels that we can fulfill from other wikis, what we see, that we can respond the new language in the same knowledge of the present time on the internet or in the science. Translate the new knowledge in the old language to the new one. Any other? We're nearly 3.5 hours into this.
Yeah, I think we better wrap it up here, Mr. Keshe. There might be a couple of stray questions, but we'll save them for next time around.
Okay, thank you very much. Please do not forget, if first of all is the go to your testimonials, especially a lot of people have made a lot of testimonial websites like no, what's the one which we are associated with? Golden Age of GANs. Go in there, what you put in there as testimonials, Keshe Foundation website testimonials, and please write it in your language. It doesn't have to be the formality of following. Write it with your soul, write it what you felt when you did it, and we'll receive it. And that's all it counts. And try to be, please, correct with it, very precise, and even if it means you can repeat it, do it again. Even if you've got it wrong, explain where I've gone wrong. Maybe the other people see that's right, but you didn't see it, or they can correct it. The same goes with our what we call the catalogs. Start sending your items into the catalog. I've seen, as we said, with Chinese which we caught in cheating using the name of the foundation, telling everybody not to work with the foundation because then they want to steal from you. This is a pattern of their work. Foundation is here to serve the whole of the Chinese community, and it's time for those of you who've done a lot of work to come. We are looking for skilled Chinese speaking people who know how to make ganses and nano things, because in setting up the factories in China, we need a large number of you to support us. Wages are a high standard, and we announce it in the next few weeks as the Chinese factories start getting laid out, as we are making negotiation agreements. We need the Chinese supporters to come, and then you can bring your products to be supplied or manufactured, and you get paid a royalty for it, the way it's on the rest of the world. Just because you speak a different language, on this planet as one nation, you have any different priority and rights than the rest of the Keshe Foundation supporters in the world. Those we know, there's a guys and a couple of guys, Mr. Lin, and most probably from where we closed the Shenzhen lab, will come a lot of things to agitate you and create negativity. The negativity comes because we have stopped the views of the Chinese as a slave. That's all it is. They want to carry on with the stealing and the habit of before, especially Mr. Lin. This gentleman should not be part of the Keshe Foundation and work anywhere near the name of the foundation. If you work in the labs with him, get in touch with us. We can offer you a decent life through the Keshe Foundation. Correct conduct. Now, not because of mixed conduct of one. Usually we see the problem with the managers of these establishments, the ones who are supposed to be the front. And already, as I said, we have recruited a number of the Chinese scientists who they start gradually getting teaching to prepare the factories which we set up to be going through. We are looking for a number of people, if you have the expertise. Due to the rapid expansion of the Keshe Foundation and what we call certification, we need those of you who know how to fill in application forms for like FDA, for certification. We need a large number of you, maybe 5 to 10 people on a full-time basis who can follow the procedures in different countries, who can write the papers. We know we have one scientist in London University who's a member of Universal Council. He came to me this afternoon. If you're good in writing these papers, please get in touch with us. We need people who know how to write scientific paper application form. A large number of you. We open a development section for this, because with these factories, they should be able to submit application form in French, English, or whatever. that we can get all the approvals. Everything we produce should be approved, so we need a lot of people who understand this. The other people we need urgently for the factories as they're coming into operation, those who can write manual or instruction manuals, that can make video instruction manuals, that how the machinery can be used for what it is, how the gas is made, whatever, that the people can be trained. Uh, we need what we call computer control programmers. All the Keshe Foundation factories are fully computerized. We have one of the best guys we know who's setting up all the factories, computerized system, remote computer control, and we need technicians who understand these kind of things that can work with us. We need a large number of scientists who can join us in the research and development in each factory, that we can develop new products and at the same time being able to other teams to establish it. In Accra, for example, we have allocated about 600 square meters of just research R&D lab, and we can extend offices above it. You can come in for a short time, do a job, do a research, and write your papers, or say this is what I want to do. You can check it, and then write the papers, get FDA approvals or whatever from it. You can work with the foundation to extend it. We give you an opportunity to open your own factories within the foundation work. And there's a criminality at the moment in what are called the spin-offs. In spin-offs, they give usually the scientist who's a backbone of it 1 or 2% or 3%. We have allocated a fair play, not by the spin-off, but by the return of the spin-off, which is totally different. So the scientists who come up with new developments, they get benefit by it fully, that they can in a way repeat the developments in other aspects. We are looking for management skill, international document transfer and shipping. We need at least 3 people in Shenzhen office urgently. If you know anything about the shipping transportation of systems or whatever, because every factory needs to be sort of supplied on a continuous monthly basis with all the necessary things they need. So we need people who have a expertise in this to get in touch with us urgently. These are the vacancies we are introducing. At the moment, we have in the international level vacancies for about 30 to 80 people, depending on what we can fit it in and the languages. If you know anything in a dimension of clearing documents, very rapid documents with everything else across the world, we need people who can do that to join the Shenzhen office. As I said, they say don't cooperate, but we're bringing so much employment to China and so many offices that to supply 300 factories around the world on a daily, weekly basis from the resources of Chinese. And we are signing agreement with all the people who become our suppliers. Their workers have to be fair wage paid. Otherwise we go somewhere else. Or in the coming time, we'll pay their staff out of the Keshe Foundation funds, because they do whatever it means we set up factories to produce it ourselves. This is what we are not looking to produce the cheapest. We sell at the highest that we can give the most to the other people, and everybody who needs it can have it. But the point of demand will be free if you cannot afford paying it, according to the society level. No man will return empty-handed from the Keshe Foundation factories when there is a need. That's what we promise. Now you know why we buy the coins, to make that happening, that we can do it, that no one can go hungry, no one can go without medicine, no father needs to lose a son because of the simple illness, or no child needs to lose a dad because of hunger or war. That's where this donation we received of 1 million coins is going to. Building factories to support humanity is our God-given rights and obligation. We do, governments will follow. there'll be no changes in the structure of society, but balance and peace comes out with it, will flourish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, once again, for the many hundreds of workshops that you've guided us through here. And thank you.
The video of the Universal Council we had last week as a closure.
Sure, I think
that's not ready yet. We're in the process of finalizing the editing, and that'll be ready next week.
Ah, okay. Thank you very much. Maybe we can go out with a coin.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, let me get that set up here. Okay. There we go. Okay, we'll play the.
All we see is a line.
Oh, maybe it's too high up or something here.
Reshare. There we go.
There we go. Thank you. And I'm not sure if you want to play a music video after this, or if we'll just go out on this one, Flint. Maybe we'll just go out on this. Okay.
Yeah, let it play through once, and then you can just mute it after that.
Okay, sounds good. So thank you, everybody, for attending today's 215th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, March 15th, 2018.